I want you to picture this. You're completely alone in the absolute middle of the Pacific Ocean. You look around and there's no land. There are no passing ships, absolutely no lights. There's literally nothing but endless water stretching out to the horizon in every single direction. Now imagine taking a microphone and just dropping it. You let it sink thousands of feet beneath the surface, straight down into this complete, crushing darkness. It's a place so deep that sunlight has never, ever touched it. It's an alien world, hiding unmapped landscapes and mysteries we can barely even comprehend. And then, out of nowhere, that microphone records something totally impossible.
So, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into one of the absolute coolest, most fascinating mysteries in modern history. We are going to unpack a sound from the deep that proved to humanity just how little we actually know about our own backyard. It's the story of a noise so incredibly powerful and so profoundly strange that for years, the smartest scientists on Earth had absolutely no idea what it was. All right, let's start with Section 1, the canvas of the unknown, our unmapped planet. Because honestly, before we can wrap our heads around the mystery of the sound itself, we really need to zoom out and grasp the sheer, terrifying scale of what we're actually looking at here. To put this into perspective, over 70% of Earth's surface is covered by water. And I know we hear that stat all the time, but think about it. It is enormous, beyond human imagination. The Pacific Ocean alone, which is where our mystery takes place, by the way, is larger than all of Earth's land masses and continents combined. It is a massive, massive space. But here is the real kicker. Get a load of this 80% figure. Despite the fact that we live in this era of artificial intelligence and space telescopes peering at the edge of the universe, scientists estimate that more than 80% of this giant ocean remains completely unmapped. I mean, we've got entire underwater mountain ranges, vast, deep trenches, and hidden volcanoes just erupting in total darkness, and we know absolutely nothing about them. Which leads us to Section 2, the anomaly, a sound from the deep. Somewhere within that dark, unmapped world of hidden mountains, something crazy happened. A signal appeared that threw everything we knew out the window. So a little context, back during the Cold War, governments built these networks of hydrophones. Basically, they're incredibly sensitive underwater listening devices. And the original goal was just to track enemy submarines. But as the Cold War wrapped up, researchers were like, hey, let's use these stations for science. So they started tracking whale calls, underwater earthquakes, things like that. For the most part, it was business as usual. Until 1997. Suddenly, these sensors picked up a signal that was completely unprecedented, massively powerful, and totally unidentifiable. The scientists dubbed this mysterious signal the bloop. And the characteristics of the bloop were just mind-boggling. First off, it lasted for exactly 1 minute, steadily increasing in frequency as it went. But the detail that really threw everybody for a loop, it was picked up by sensors that were nearly 5,000 kilometers apart. To travel that kind of distance underwater, a sound has to be almost incomprehensibly loud. And the wildest part was that it didn't look like an earthquake or a volcano on the readouts. It literally didn't match a single thing in the scientific record. So, Section 3, the monster hypothesis. Biological or geological? The researchers were looking at this data, asking the obvious question. What on earth could generate a sound loud enough to travel 5,000 kilometers while sounding, well, weirdly organic? Once the news of the bloop leaked out, you know exactly where the public and the internet went with it. Everyone jumped straight to the most terrifying and, frankly, the most fun possibility. Could this actually be a living creature? Had a microphone literally just captured the roar of a real-life sea monster lurking in the abyss? Scientists obviously had to run the numbers. They compared the bloop's profile to known marine animals, and the results were pretty staggering. If this sound was actually biological, the creature making it would have to be colossal. We are talking about something that would make a blue whale look like a goldfish. It would be an uncatalogued animal, larger than literally anything humanity had ever documented, with vocal cords capable of projecting sound thousands of miles. It seriously had people wondering if those ancient sailor myths about krakens and leviathans actually had some truth to them. And man, that uncertainty just spread like wildfire. Conspiracy theories completely exploded. Sci-fi fans immediately pointed out that the geographic origin of the sound was suspiciously close to the fictional resting place of Cthulhu, the giant cosmic entity from H.P. Lovecraft's stories. Even without a single shred of actual evidence, our imaginations ran completely wild. The bloop turned into a viral modern-day legend of an ancient monster sleeping at the bottom of the sea. But eventually we arrive at Section 4, the Antarctic Revelation. Science solves the mystery. Because while the rest of us were obsessing over sea monsters, the researchers put their heads down and focused on the data. They painstakingly compared the bloop against thousands of known sounds, everything from whales to submarines, until finally things started to click. The truth finally came out, and it brilliantly illustrates how wild reality can be. The culprit wasn't some undocumented alien leviathan hiding in the dark. It was actually the awe-inspiring sheer brute force of nature itself, acting out in the frozen wilderness of Antarctica. See, far from being just a quiet, empty block of ice, Antarctica is alive. It's constantly moving. What happens is gigantic ice sheets and glaciers shift, causing billions of tons of ice to just violently snap and fracture. They call it an icequake. When that happens, an unbelievable amount of energy is dumped straight into the ocean. And because water is a fantastic conductor, meaning sound travels way further and faster through water than it does through air, that low-frequency cracking sound easily projected over 5,000 kilometers right into our listening devices.
Which brings us to our final section, Section 5, the uncharted future. What else is out there? Now, look, I get it. Some people might have been a tiny bit disappointed that it wasn't a giant squid or Cthulhu, but honestly, cracking ice on this scale is just as mind-blowing. The fact that an entire shifting continent can project its voice thousands of kilometers across the planet is an unbelievable testament to Earth's power. If anything, solving the bloop just highlights how much we still don't know. It leaves us with these massive, lingering questions. I mean, the deep ocean is a place where there are literally fish with transparent heads and ecosystems surviving under water pressure that would crush a titanium submarine like a soda can. So how many species are down there right now that we haven't discovered? What kind of crazy ecosystems are thriving in the dark? The bloop was just one brief signal from a hidden world we barely understand. So as we keep pushing the boundaries of what we know, I want to leave you with this to chew on. The next great mystery? It's already out there. It's waiting right now in the pitch black. And sooner or later, it's going to send a signal that forces all of us to stop, look down, and ask that one absolutely vital question. What exactly is hiding beneath the ocean? Thanks for joining me for this explainer. Keep wondering, keep exploring, and I'll catch you next time.